Hey everyone, I'm Amanda with Sweet Pieces and welcome to our Facebook Live today. It's Friday. Is anyone else excited? It's Friday. It doesn't feel like Friday. It feels like Groundhog's Day. So how's everybody doing out there? How's everybody handling this? We just got the announcement yesterday in New York that this whole New York on pause thing is extended through May 15th, which, I mean, isn't really surprising. With everything that's going on, I probably assumed that that was going to happen, but now it's like, it's real. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Hey, Patty, how you doing? Are you painting today? Are you painting something? It keeps us sane, right? I have to tell you, I am so thankful for paint right now. Seriously. So it's really making my life quite wonderful that I can tackle projects and get things done and keep my mind focused on something else. So I will share with you. I've been telling you guys, don't sit and stare and watch the news, and I did that yesterday because I had a feeling that Governor Cuomo was going to announce something. So I wanted to just hear, and he did announce that it was going to be May 15th. But for like the 10 minutes that I listened, I have to tell you, my mood was like so altered. It was, I don't know. I said, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. It's, I gotta keep my mind focused on these projects that we have going on. Hey, Jill. Hello, Catherine. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited. I feel really, really blessed and honored that you guys decide to spend some time with me in the afternoon. It's pretty amazing. I feel really lucky. I feel really, really blessed and really, really lucky to have such fantastic fans and customers and family and team members. It's really great. So hi Ralph, how you doing? Ralph, I got to show you something. You got to see this china cabinet that I decided to take home as a personal project for myself. I'll be showing you guys that in just a little bit. So today, and we have Regina. Hi, Regina. I'm going to be talking to you guys about 3 different things that we talk to customers about a lot. So that's wash, wax, and glazing. And we recommend each technique for different scenarios, and customers often have a hard time discerning between the different techniques. So we're going to kind of go over that. Say, hi, Mom. My mom's watching too. And Linda and Julie. Hello, everyone. So exciting. Okay, so first things first, I just realized I forgot my iPad upstairs. So stand by 1 second. I'm going to go grab it. Okay, I have to tell you that running up and down the stairs has become like my workout besides yoga, because I still am doing yoga every day. But I'm spending so much more time in this basement, which, by the way, I need to show you guys before pictures because this was a bleeping disaster. It was disgusting down here. I never even wanted to come down here. I think I might have worn dirty clothes a few times because I didn't want to come down here and do my laundry. So it's a total transformation. So I'll have to show you guys that one day. So what I'm going to show you are 3 different sets of photos that kind of explain what these techniques look like. And then I'm actually going to show you them on different pieces as well. So the first one we'll talk about is a wash. Okay. So this piece was done with a wash. Okay. So do you see how it looks 2-dimensional? It doesn't have just a flat one color paint on it. It has some detail to it. So if you look at this, you can even see, like here, it's not flat and 1-dimensional, but it's also not super consistent. Okay. So that is a color wash. All right. This is another piece that we had done. Same technique in a wash. You can see it doesn't look like it's one color. It has some dimension to it, but it's not completely consistent. Okay, so that's a wash. Now, a glaze is similar, but you can achieve a more consistent look with a glaze, okay? And it's, if you have no experience, using a glaze usually gives you, it's easier to control, okay? So, and you can do a glaze several different ways. You can use our chalk type paints, you can use the general finishes paints, you can use glaze as glaze, or you can use paints as glaze. So I'm gonna go into all of that as well. So here is a glaze. So do you see, this is the top of a piece of a dresser. Do you see how it looks more consistent? Okay, it's not as, I want to call maybe the wash like moody, okay? Whereas the glaze is just a little bit more consistent. Here's another picture of a glaze, okay? Again, the top. So again, you see how that looks more consistent? Okay. And here's another glaze. So again, there's just more consistency to it. Yes, Sharon, you can put it over gel stain. So you can put a glaze over gel stain. You can also put it over paint. So either way. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to show you is a wax. Okay, so now a colored wax is only going to go over your chalk style paint. So you're not going to use a wax over the general finishes paint. If you want to create a wax type of a colored wax type of a look on top of a general finishes milk paint, then you would need to use glaze and kind of model it a little bit. Okay. So here's wax. Okay. So this is a piece we did with wax. Now, do you see how on the edges here, like it's darker and then it fades in, it gets lighter? Wax is definitely the most inconsistent of the three different looks, okay? So this piece is beautiful for the wax because look at all that detail and it kind of highlights it. Now, I could have done that with glaze as well, but the wax gives it more of like an old world type of a finish, type of a look. Whereas that's not that it's impossible to achieve with a glaze or a wash, but it's a little bit harder. So here's another wax. So do you see how on the side of this piece of furniture, again, that's very inconsistent looking, okay? It's not, like with the glaze, you get very striated, you get like those streaks and it's very consistent. If you have glazed kitchen cabinets, you know, there's a line in the corner that's a very consistent line. So the wax is a little bit more inconsistent. By the way, we also don't recommend the colored waxes for high use areas. So things like kitchen cabinets and dining tables, we don't really recommend using the colored waxes for those types of things, because if they get rubbed a lot or wiped down a lot or a lot of chemicals put on them, you can actually move the wax around because it's a natural substance and you can change the way it looks. Whereas if you use a glaze or a color wash, it's your paint that the technique is in, and that's going to stay no matter what you do on top of it, no matter what you clean it with. This is another wax photo. So do you see how in the crevices and then into the center of the panel, it kind of fades in that darker color we use black wax on this. And then you can see it even like around the edges. That's your black wax. So again, wax is the most inconsistent, but it gives you kind of like that old world type of a finish. A color wash is a little more consistent, but there's a lot of different variations that you can do with it. And then your glaze is going to be your most consistent and the easiest to control of the three different products. So now let me show you some boards that we've done in the store with these three different techniques. So once this whole thing is over, which I don't even know what that looks like or how long it's going to be or whatever the case may be, but we're working really hard at Sweet Pieces to create content for you that we can continue doing business in a different way. You know, I heard the governor talk yesterday about how the new normal, it might be different. So businesses have to become innovative and figure out how to do business in a different way. So we're working really hard behind the scenes to create content for you guys that's going to make it a lot easier for you to tackle your projects. So that includes, you know, doing some video conferencing with you guys. It includes getting more photos up on the website of different techniques and a lot more how-tos up there. So we're working like day and night, our buns off. Hi, Sari. Hi, Sandra. Who else do I have? Pam's on. Claudia, you're so sweet. Thank you. You guys, you keep me going. I'm like embarrassed because you guys are just so awesome. Okay, so here is a board. And this board is the same color. So we started with Bliss, okay? And then we did a black glaze, wax, and a black wash. So they're similar, okay? Wash, wax. So I said wax is going to be your most inconsistent. Your wash is going to be a little bit more consistent. And then the glaze is just going to be a lot easier to control. So you can keep that glaze in the grooves and crevices if you'd like, or you can wipe it back. So glaze, wax, color wash. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually do this technique. Oh, and let me show you, I'll just show you one more board. This is another color. So this is antique white, and this has glaze. So this is the glaze, black glaze. This is black wax, and this is a wash. So why does it look more drastically different than the other board? Might be the question you're asking. It's the question I'm asking. So what I would say is that when we wiped back the wax on this center area, we wiped it back more heavily than we did on the wax and the wash and the glaze. So it kind of just depends on your hand. And I do encourage you to kind of play around with some of these products and techniques because, like me personally, I don't really love colored waxing, but I have a lot of customers that do. I really love doing a wash. I don't need to do a glaze a lot of times because I can really control my wash because I've practiced a lot at it. So, you know, everybody has a little bit of a different hand and everybody has a little bit of a different preference. So we always say, like, you know, play around, have fun with it. It's a journey. You know, I'm a control freak. I don't know if you guys know that about me, but I do like to have control of most situations. But so you can imagine this is driving me insane, bonkers. So I like to know that I'm going to have control over my finishes, but sometimes it's fun. It's fun to kind of go through that process and figure out what is going to be the best technique for your piece. And it's just paint. If you don't like what you did with it, just repaint over it. That's the beauty of the products that we carry, is that it makes it very, very easy to change your mind, which I love because I have a hard time making a commitment sometimes, except for when it came to my husband. Okay, so someone asked, is that all on top? Yes, it is all on top of the Jolie chalk style paint, the boards that I'm showing you guys, for sure. Okay, so let's, what do we want to do first? Why don't we do wax? Let's play around with wax. So I told you guys this is like my least favorite, and I also told you the other day that we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes. So I'm gonna jump right into wax. Okay, so when you're using colored wax, you want to make sure that you clear wax first, okay? Johnny, can you bring me down clear wax? It's right underneath that chair. I forgot my clear wax too. Okay, so anytime you do colored wax, and my wax brush that's laying underneath there too. Good thing hubby's home, working from home. And John's watching too. So John, I forgot my colored wax at the store. I had to have him drive over to my house. So Donna's asking, Jolie is not a chalk paint. How is it different? So let me give you a little lesson here. Chalk paint is a trademarked term. It was trademarked by Annie Sloan. So it's kind of like saying Kleenex. We a lot of times use Kleenex synonymous with tissues, but not every tissue is Kleenex. So technically there's no other paint that is called chalk paint, but Jolie, yes, is a chalk type paint, meaning that it doesn't require any sanding, stripping, or priming. It requires a wax seal. You could do multiple finishes with it. You could do modern, smooth, rustic, textured, layered, wash, distress. You could do all that kind of stuff with Jolie. And we used to carry Annie Sloan. We carried it for a long time. Annie Sloan moved her manufacturing from the United States to Europe, I guess a year and a half ago. And at that point in time, we tested the new product that was coming from Europe. We felt that the very best decision for our customers, because that's how our decisions are always made for our customers, was to go with the Jolie line of chalk style paint. So Jolie is actually made by the same manufacturer that made the US version of Annie Sloan. So we highly recommend this product. We think it will feel very familiar to you if you have used the other brand in the past. And it also has really fantastic color matches. So if you had painted something with the previous paint that we carried and now you need to match it, we can find you a comparable color that you'll be very, very happy with. Plus, we have lots of new colors. So I'll just quickly give you a sneak peek of the line. So here are 42 gorgeous, gorgeous colors, all kinds of fantastic neutrals and some additional whites. Just gorgeous. You're gonna love it, I promise. Okay, so here's the thing. The paint is gonna feel very familiar, but if you used the old wax that we used to carry, our new Jolie wax is totally different, and it's totally awesome, and you're totally gonna love it, and it's gonna totally change your life. So, you know, this is the one thing that we would get so many questions about. The wax was a little testy, you know. So this new wax is totally different. It's non-hazardous. It's no odor. It has my hair in it. My hair gets everywhere, gets in everything. So non-hazardous, no odor. It's like shortening. It's like the consistency of shortening. Okay, and we are going to clear wax first because I told you that was important. So I have this cute little mirror. Let me turn this down for you. Sharon's asking a question. She asks, should I seal my gel stain piece before any of these techniques? I'm going to talk a little bit about that when I get over to glazing. So hold tight on that question. Okay, so I have this cute little mirror here. Let's see if I can get a good view. Okay, so, and here, what am I going to do? I'm going to use the black. So I'm going to just use this brown to prop this up. If you guys have been following along with my basement redo where I'm working on this pink piece, I have to tell you, this is like, it's so incredible. I like am obsessed with coming down here now. And I really owe it to all of you who are watching because you have forced me to do my projects when I say I'm going to do my projects. So thank you. So I put a little bit of wax onto my brush. I'm not globbing it. Okay, do you see that? I'm just putting a little bit on there. And now I'm going to just lightly brush over. Okay, now this piece has a lot of grooves and crevices, so this is something I definitely would not want to glob my wax up on because I would be buffing till the cows came home. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly do, and by the way, this mirror was gold. I tell this story sometimes to customers, and I wonder if they think I'm telling the truth or not, but this is the truth. When my daughter was christened, I was having a party, and this mirror was solid gold, and it was on this wall upstairs, and it just didn't look right. So like 10 minutes before the party, I just got my white paint out and did a quick dry brush, and voila, it looked so much better in the space. So did a quick dry brush over the gold, still letting some of the gold show through. And I never waxed it, and I was looking at it today, and I'm like, ooh, that could use a little bit of black wax on it. So I put my clear on, okay? And now, normally what I would tell you to do is wipe it back, like if you were done. Wipe it back. You know, this will give it a little bit of shine, a little bit of protection. That's the point of wax. shine and protection. But I'm going to add colored wax. So now I'm going to pop open my black. Okay. Oh, I guess we didn't have any black demo. Okay, so here's my black wax. Again, non-hazardous, no odor. I mean, I wish we had like smellometers here. There's literally no odor to it. And now I'm going to take my pointed Jolie brush, wax brush. I'm going to put a little bit, okay? Like that is probably too much. So I'm actually going to just wipe this off on the edge of the can. Woo! We're all good. It's all good. Okay, so I'm wiping off my wax on the edge of the can. So now I don't see any like clumps, okay? It's just pigmented almost. And now I'm going to go ahead. Let me see. Let me get this a good angle for you guys. Okay. And I'm just going to lightly brush this on top. So let me do this section and then I'll hold this up close to the camera. Okay. So do you see that? So this is where we did the wax. And then I haven't done the wax over here yet. Okay. So wax, and then you could see where it's bright white up here. I haven't done the wax yet. So I'm basically just, and here's what I'll do. I'll do half of it. And then I'll show you guys, and you'll be able to see half of it done and half of it not. So just a tiny little bit on there. And this is like, you know, it's like an aging process. It makes it look aged. You know, if you just need like a little bit of pizzazz on your piece and you don't want it to look so bright white or just bright in general, this, you know, a wax is a good way to do it. Once I'm done spreading it out, I'm just going to take my rag and I'm just going to lightly go around and buff it. So what I'm using is a shop towel. You can probably find these at most hardware stores. We also carry them at Sweet Pieces because we aim to be a one-stop shop for you. Literally everything that we recommend you can purchase in our shop or on our website. So you don't have to go hunting for your supplies. Okay, so now if you look at this, you can see on this side, I have my wax, and this side I don't. So can you see how it's a little bit, it looks aged, basically. Okay? So that's waxing. So whenever you are doing colored wax, you want to make sure that you're doing your clear wax first, okay? If you don't do your clear wax first, then what's going to happen is your piece of furniture is, okay, and mind that we're talking about chalk style paints, okay? So we wouldn't use this on something that's not a chalk style paint. We wouldn't use the waxes on non-chalk style paint. So when you're doing colored waxes on chalk style paint, you want to make sure you do your clear wax first. Chalk style paints are very porous. They want to absorb whatever you put on the surface. So if you put an antiquing wax, black or brown, directly on top of that chalky porous surface, it's going to just suck it up and you're not going to be able to move it around. It's going to look very muddy. It's not going to look right. So you need that clear wax on there first to act as a barrier so that you can, you know, move your colored wax around on top of it and control it. Got it? Okay. So that's waxing. So now let's talk about washing. So let's see. Just want to make sure we don't have any other questions on here. John didn't have time to find the demoed wax. I called him at 1:55. He is correct. I guess it's mine. I bought it. Okay, so Daniela is asking, should pieces always be finished with clear wax for shine and protection, regardless of if you're doing a glaze, a wash, or etc.? Very good question, Daniela. So it really depends. It depends. So if you're doing you can do top coat on anything. You don't have to use the wax. There are some limitations to using top coats on top of chalk style paints. So if you want to do a top coat on a white chalk style paint, I would highly recommend, highly, that you use a stain blocker first, okay? So this is what I would use. And this is what I use on everything that I'm going to paint white, and I'm going to seal it with a top coat, not a wax, okay? If I'm just doing white chalk style paint and I'm just going to seal it with clear wax, you can just do chalk style paint, clear wax, and or colored waxes. If you're going to seal chalk style paint with a top coat, a penetrating top coat, which we recommend High Performance Top Coat by General Finishes. This is our favorite top coat. By the way, we are actually getting in a Jolie top coat. It's brand new. I'm sure it's fabulous, but I don't recommend anything until I try it. So it's coming. It should be here. It was supposed to be here today, but it's probably coming on Monday. So I'll be tuning in with you guys to let you know. How many coats of stain blocker? So you do want to make sure you're doing 2 coats of stain blocker. And I'm speaking from experience, 2 coats of stain blocker. So once you have, depending on what you're doing, so let's say you did a white chalk style paint. You glazed it in black, and now you want to seal it with a top coat. That is okay because you put the glaze on top of it. So even if you get a little bit of yellowing or bleed through happening, you're not going to see it because you have that black glaze on top of it. But if you have a solid white finish and you want to seal it with top coat, you need to use that stain blocking primer, okay? And then as far as washing or glazing, what top coat to use, it's really preference. So if you, some people really love the satiny, matte satiny look of the wax. It's a really beautiful finish. Then go for the wax. If you want more of like a factory type looking finish that you can scrub down after the kids eat their SpaghettiOs and play with paints, then go ahead and use the top coats. It's totally up to you. Although, you know, the wax is also very, very durable. I have it in my home on many pieces. My daughter actually used crayons on my island, my kitchen island, which was painted with chalk style paint and wax, and I just use wax as an eraser to erase it. So you can always, call us if you guys have questions. I mean, we really are, we're there for you. Like we're there via email, phone calls, social media. If you have questions, we are there to help you answer them. We don't want you to be struggling figuring out what products to use. We have a virtual consultation on our website right now, and you can just go in there, fill in the information, and we will get back to you with product recommendations, and we'll tell you exactly why and how to use those products. So we're there for you. And I want to thank you guys for supporting us, because I wouldn't be able to continue doing business if I didn't have the support of our amazing customers and clients. So you're keeping people employed right now and you're keeping our dreams going. So thank you so much. We really, really appreciate your support. Okay, so Jean asked if she can repaint a piece after it's waxed. If you're using the chalk style paint, yes, you can. So if I were doing a piece for a client that was waxed, I would absolutely strip off all the wax using mineral spirits and then go ahead and repaint it. If I were doing a piece for myself, I probably wouldn't strip off the wax. So it just depends on, what you're doing. It also depends on the piece. If it was my kitchen table, yes, I would do it the proper way. If it's just, a little side table in a guest bedroom or a piece in the laundry room, I probably wouldn't be so diligent about it. Okay, so we got stain blocker, any water and heat resistant top coats for high traffic areas. So Monica, the high performance top coat is a fantastic product. It's very, very durable. We have beat the crap out of it in many situations, and it really holds up very nicely as long as it has time to cure for full water wear, heat, and chemical resistance. So that's usually about 30 days. That doesn't mean you can't use it. It just means that in that first 30 days of use, it's more susceptible to potential, mishaps, scuffs, stain, marks, things like that. So just be gentle with it during those first 30 days of use. And I will say, again, wax is very durable. If you are doing it properly, again, it does take time to cure. Is it heat resistant? No. I mean, it's wax. It can melt. So if you put a hot plate on it, but, a hot plate shouldn't really be going on anything. If you put a cup of coffee down, it'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. If you set down like a skillet that you just took off the stove, that's going to be a problem. But that would be a problem on any finish. Okay, so Maria's painting a desk with graphite in Annie Sloan. She had leftover. Should I use white or dark wax? If I decide to use the dark, should I still use the white wax first? Okay, so Maria, I just want to make this really clear before I start talking about Annie Sloan paint. The product changed in 2018. So if you're talking about the American version, I can absolutely guide you on that. The new product is different and I don't have a ton of experience with it. So that's when we decided to ship to Jolie. So if it's the US version of the paint, and if you look at it, it will say made in the USA or made in the UK. So you'll be able to easily tell. It will be a liter if it's the UK version. It will say quart if it's the US version. So if you're using graphite, should you still use the clear before you use the colored? So this is a case where you don't have to use the clear first. And the reason is because of what is the word I'm looking for? Is because of the two different, okay, so contrast, there's the word. So the graphite paint and the dark wax or the black wax don't have a high contrast, okay? They're similar in color. So if you put that dark wax directly on top of the graphite, it's fine. You don't have to use the clear. But in cases where you have like a white paint and you're putting a dark wax on it, that's a high contrast. So you need to have that buffer of the clear wax in between. So it's all about high contrast. So think of that in another sense. We also carry a white wax. If you're using graphite and you want to put white wax on top of it, white wax and graphite are high contrast. So you need to put a clear wax on there first in order to maintain consistency. So hopefully that helps. Oh, thanks, Catherine. Catherine says I'm a great teacher, and that's really, really sweet. Okay, so Mary has a couch and a love seat with detailed carved wood outlining both pieces. It's presently a light wood stain with a very light shine to the wood. She doesn't like it. Isn't that the story of our lives? Can she chalk paint over it? She also wants to highlight the details. The answer is yes, you can paint over it. Absolutely. You can, dry brush on the details like I did on this mirror so that, if you liked the background color, you could do that. Mary doesn't. So you could paint it solidly one color. Then you could dry brush and highlight in another color if you wanted to. And then you can even add a little bit of dark wax. So with our virtual consultations, what we're also doing is you have the opportunity on the virtual console page to upload photos to us. So you can upload photos of your piece, and then you can also upload photos of what you want the piece to look like. So that's where we really shine at Sweet Pieces. If you find a finish, I don't care where you find it. Restoration Hardware, Wayfair, Pinterest, whatever. Wherever you find it, you can send it to us and we will tell you how to replicate it. So that's really a really great thing. Okay, all right, so let's jump into the next technique here. So I'm gonna bring it over to Ralph. I don't know if you're still watching, but there's your china cabinet. Look at that bad boy. She's all white. She's ready to go. I'm so excited. Okay, so here's what we're going to do next. We are going to do a wash and we're going to do a glaze, okay? Let me just make sure that I got this right for you. Okay. So here is I'm going to do a wash and a wax. A wash and a glaze on both the General Finishes paint and then also the chalk style paint. Okay, so this is General Finishes. Help me out with the color. Oh no, wait, I have a color chart here. Let's see. So this is General Finishes and this is done in Persian blue. This is one of our favorite colors. Okay, so this is just solid painted Persian blue. Okay, and then this one is This is Reverent Gray. Love this color. It's hard to see it on camera, but just trust me, it's a gorgeous color. So I have these two, and then we are going to do a glaze. So what do you need to do a glaze? Well, you need glaze. So I'm actually going to be using pitch black glaze, and we carry General Finishes glazes in brown, in white, and in black. We also carry it in a gray. What is the name? A smoky gray. It's new, actually. It's a really, really pretty color. So we have our black, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and stir this. You always want to make sure you stir your paints before you get started. And glaze is very thin. Can you see how thin that's dripping off of there? It's a very, very thin product. Now, whenever you're glazing with General Finishes glazes and General Finishes paints, you want to have another product on hand, and that is extender, okay? This is going to make your life a whole heck of a lot easier. So what does extender do? It's basically, so if you've used a chalk style paint, you know that you can add water to it to thin it. So extender is to General Finishes glazes what water is to chalk paint. So it's basically a thinning agent that is going to allow you to manipulate the product for a longer period of time, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze a little bit of extender into a bowl here. I'm sure my husband is thrilled I'm using the bowls for painting. Okay, so I also have on hand some chip brushes. So I like to use chip brushes when I'm glazing. I don't recommend chip brushes for painting furniture, like painting a whole piece of furniture. I more so recommend them for the additional techniques like color washing, glazing, dry brushing, those types of things. So now I'm going to, and you know what, let me just grab, I'm going to grab a rag, and I just reorganized this whole space, so I was a little turned around, wasn't sure where my supplies were. I'm going to swing around the camera when we're done here and show you guys how this is coming along. Okay, so I have a rag. My daughter used all my blue shop towels, so John, I need another roll of those. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my brush into the extender, and I'm going to just pull you guys in here a little bit closer so you can really see this. By the way, Julie, I now have a Cameo station that I can cut all the vinyls on. This is amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to take my glaze, and I'm going to show this to you two different ways, okay? I'm going to show this to you with extender and without extender. So if I take this and I put my glaze on, and that's scary, right? Like, oh my God, you just ruined your finish, okay? Now I'm going to take my rag and I'm going to wipe this back. Okay. Now, I can rub, but it's still pretty heavy there, okay? But now, if I take this, I'll dip back into my black, okay? I'm going to do the same thing up here. But now I'm going to add some extender. So I'm just going to dip into my extender back here, and I'm going to brush it onto that same area. So this still looks pretty dark, but when I wipe this back this time, watch what happens. I can really control this. I can really wipe this back. I could even add a little more extender if I don't want it to be even that dark. And go back over it. Okay, so that's like, it's barely even there, just barely there. I could go back and just add a little bit more. I'm trying to make it so that I don't see that reflection. I apologize. I could go back in here So you can, I mean, there's a lot that you can do with the glaze. I mean, how pretty is that? And again, we have the glaze in black, white, brown, and smoky gray. So here's another thing that you can do. You can actually take General Finishes paint, okay, and you can turn this into a glaze using the extender, and you can basically apply it the same way that you did the glaze. Glaze is always going to be a bit thinner than the actual paint is, but you could essentially take the paint, put it on top, use the extender, and have any one of the colors as a glaze as well. So I'll just quickly show you guys. This is my glaze again. This is the Reverend Gray. I'm going to dip into my extender. I mean, this is just a great way. And trust me when I tell you, you cannot make a mistake with this. So if you have the extender, you have your glaze, you can create a really beautiful, like a lot of people will call this like a driftwood type of a looking finish. It could be called a distressed finish. We get a lot of requests for like restoration hardware type finishes. I'm going to tilt this to you guys in just 1 second. So look how pretty that looks. It just has like a little bit of dimension and detail to it. And it was so super simple. So all I did was, this is base coated in the General Finishes paint. We did a little bit of glaze on my 2-inch chip brush, and then just added a little bit of extender and wiped it back. So how long should you wait after painting before applying and wiping back glaze? So you want to make sure that your paint is totally dry. So give it a couple of hours, I suppose. You know, overnight is probably best, but you know, at least a couple of hours. Okay, so I'm going to show you now what you're going to do if you want to create the same type of a finish with chalk style paint. Okay, so let's say you're using the chalk style paint and you want to do a glaze over the top of it. You can do it a couple of different ways. Okay, so you can do a glaze with chalk style paint either using a glaze, okay, or you can use any one of the chalk style paint colors with scumble, and scumble basically turns the paint into a glaze. So let's say that you don't have glaze on hand, but you have several chalk style paints and you happen to have scumble on hand. You can create a glaze type of a finish without using actual glaze. So I'm going to show you how to do it with chalk style paint and scumble, and how to do, scumble is a funny word, and how to do it with if you have real glaze and scumble. So Catherine, if you can't stay on with us, yes, we'll absolutely post this video when we're done, for sure. And I think I had one other question. Do you put a top coat over the glaze? Absolutely. So you always want to make sure that you're finishing your project with some sort of a top coat, whether it's wax or like a penetrating top coat, like the high performance top coat, or the Jolie varnish, which we have coming in very, very soon. You definitely want to make sure that you are top coating it somehow, some way. Okay. So let's take a peek here at, this is the Jolie matte finish paint in linen, okay? And now I want to do this same type of a technique as the General Finishes paint. I'm not going to use extender, okay? Extender gets used with General Finishes paint. It does not get used with chalk style paint, okay? What I am going to use with chalk style paint is scumble, okay? This product is thebomb.com. Absolutely love this product. It's by Artisan Enhancements, one of our suppliers. They sell all kinds of paint mediums that you can use to transform your finishes, take them to another level. So I'll just give you, and you can peek on our website. and check out all the Artisan Enhancements products. So you can kind of see it will settle. Okay, so it's half clear and half white. So you just want to make sure that you stir it before you get started. Okay, so I stirred it up. And now I'm going to get another chip brush. I like to have like 5 or 6 chip brushes on hand at all times because depending on what I'm doing, it helps me to, play around with different techniques because I don't feel like washing this one that I just used. So what I'm going to do, if you want to do that type of a glaze on a chalk style paint, the first thing you have to do is you have to put a slip coat of Scumble. So I'm going to dip my brush into here, into the Scumble. This is just plain Scumble. And I'm painting on a slip coat. And you can go in all different directions. It doesn't matter. You just want to get a slip coat on there. Okay? So get the whole thing on there, all right? And this should be wet when you do your next step, okay? So now I'm going to take my Jolie paint and I'm going to put a little bit out onto a plate. I only have a little left. I'm going to be picking up another one of these bad boys too, John. Okay, so I put a little bit of my Jolie Noir on here, and I'm going to mix this with a little bit of Scumble. Okay, so I have the 2 products on here. You want to do... Ooh! That's going on the blooper reel. Okay, so you want to do about 50-50 paint and Scumble. Good thing I tiled these floors. So I'm going to add just a little bit more paint there. A little bit of Scumble. Okay, and then I'm going to remix. And I'm going to hold the plate a little bit tighter this time. Okay. So once you have your mixture of 50-50 paint to Scumble, and you have done your Scumble slip coat, then you can go ahead and glaze. So what you're going to do is now you're going to take your brush, your 2-inch chip brush, you're going to dip it into your mixture, and you're going to paint it on. Johnny, can you grab me my spray bottle out of the shower? I also forgot my spray bottle because I have to show you guys how to do a wash next. Oh, this is like a comedy show. Okay, so now I've gotten my paint on there. Okay, now you might be wondering, oh, why isn't it as heavy as the General Finishes was? It's just because I didn't have that much on my brush. So I could go heavier if I wanted to. Okay. And then I'm going to take my rag and I'm going to wipe back in the same manner that I did before on the glaze. And, this is all preference. If you love the way this looks, then you're done. If you don't, it just means keep going. So you just wipe it back until you get the look that you want. So how pretty is that? I always call this my Restoration Hardware look. Linen with a noir glaze or wash. Either one creates a really, really pretty look. Okay, so that is, thank you, sir. That is how you do a glaze with chalk style paint. So don't forget, you want to make sure that you Scumble, I like that. You want to make sure you do your slip coat first. Then you're going to do a mix of Scumble and paint. And then you're going to go ahead and apply that mixture and wipe back as you want to. So Dina's asking, how long do I have to work before the Scumble dries? So Scumble or glaze, they're kind of synonymous in the decorative paint world. So Scumble is like a glaze medium. Glazing essentially means that it has a longer open time. So it takes a longer time to dry, which means that you have more time to manipulate it. It really depends on how thickly you put the layer on. It could take an hour if it's really thin. It could take 12 hours if you put it on really thickly. So it kind of depends on how much glaze and or scumble and or extender you have on your piece. But in general, if I am doing a piece of furniture, like I've done a big dresser and I've done a slip coat on the entire thing. And then when I'm done, so like let's say it takes me 10 or 15 minutes to apply that scumble to the whole piece. By the time I come back and I start working on the whole piece, I could get done with the piece and it's still wet. So, you know, you could work in sections if you wanted to, if you knew you were going to have to step away from the project. You could certainly do that. But I would recommend that you're finishing a surface at a time. So I would do the top of something, whether it's a table or a dresser or a credenza or whatever, in one fell swoop. So put on your slip coat of scumble, mix your paint, put on your mixture, and wipe it back. And then you could be done. Then you could go on to the side next, or the drawer fronts, or wherever. So I would definitely work on a surface at a time. Okay, so we have talked about glaze with chalk style paint. We've talked about glaze with general finishes paint. We've talked about colored waxing. And now I want to talk to you about how to do a wash. So I was initially going to show you how to do a wash on the beam. I'll flip this around for you guys and show you the beam. This beam here, see how it's brown? And everything else in this room is pink and gray and turquoise. So that really doesn't go. So I am going to definitely be painting that. But I dragged something out of my shed, out of my furniture shed, and I had to do it. I just had to do it. So let's see, there was another question. If I have a dark piece, can you scumble with white paint to create a whitish glaze? What a great question. Yes, you absolutely can. So you can use the glaze. How do I want to phrase this? Okay, so I wouldn't recommend using straight glaze on top of something. I would recommend using the paint as a glaze on top of something to create like a white washy type of a look. Glaze itself isn't a really durable medium on its own, so you want to have some sort of something else with it. So if you are doing just one color on top of something else that already has an existing finish, I would tend to use the paint as a glaze. So use either the chalk style paint with a mixture of the scumble, or use the general finishes milk paint thinned out with extender. Okay, so I have another question here. Claudia asked, what is the difference if I do a wash with just watered down paint, or spraying the piece with water then painting and wiping back, or using the scumble? So great question, Claudia. The difference is control. If you are really good at doing a wash and you can control it, then keep doing that. But if you feel like sometimes your pieces tend to look a little inconsistent, or you're getting like water droplets in some of the areas, then glazing, turning the paint into a glaze with the scumble is a really great way to fix that, because it allows you more time to work. It gives you a longer open time with the product. So that's really the main difference. The glaze is going to be more consistent. It's going to tend to be more consistent. So I have a furniture shed out back, and it has been this piece, I'm just trying to get this good for you guys, has been in there since the day I started this company. I got this piece of furniture, or this mirror rather, from somebody, and I painted it. I half painted it, and I never finished it. And I was looking for something to do on this segment, and I found it. So this piece is 8 years old. It has been hiding in my furniture shed for 8 years. So the 56 people who are currently watching, this mirror thanks you, because you got it out of the graveyard, the furniture graveyard. Okay, so I painted this quickly before I came on camera. There is some gold in here, so if you look really, you should be able to see it, yeah. So in here, this is like the original gold finish. I just kind of dry brushed over it. I want to use some of that to kind of play up on. I'm gonna show you guys a quick technique This is called wet distressing. So you can't really do this with general finishes paint. You can if you do it very, very quickly after you have already painted. But it's hard because the general finishes paint dries really, really hard. So you don't have a lot of time. Whereas the chalk style paint, it's more like a stone that's sitting on top of it. So you can distress it and wipe it back really nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a spray bottle. This just has water. I use this for my hair every morning. I'm going to take my rag and I'm just going to wipe back the edges. So I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But basically, wet distressing is just a really easy way to kind of rub back the details. Let me just pull in here really close for you guys to see that. So do you see now the gold is kind of showing through there a bit more. So you can use a wet rag to basically distress your pieces as well with the chalk style paint, as long as you get to it fairly quickly. Okay, so what I'm going to show you next is how to do a wash. So the way I like to do a wash is I have a spray bottle and I spritz the surface. And let's bring this back a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to, and there is a little bit of a shadow over here, so just be mindful of that. That's not paint or anything. I'm going to take this and I'm going to spritz. Okay. And now I have my paint. This is the chalk style paint. It's in linen is the color. Okay, so there's my color paint. And I'm going to now brush this onto the surface that I just spritzed with water. And I'm going to have a rag on hand, and I'm just going to wipe this back. So this is something like I got to work quickly with this because the paint is going to dry fairly quickly. And you can see how this looks, you know, a little bit inconsistent, which is what I want. I want there to be like depth and dimension on this. Now, once I spritz and then I re-spritz, a lot of times I'm going to start to get water droplets, which that's what I was talking about before. Like sometimes that's a little bit hard to control. And people want to have a little bit more consistency. Then that's when we recommend using the scumble. I'm just kind of rubbing my rag into these grooves and crevices. I'm lightly rubbing this. You know, this area here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me just lower this a little bit. Okay, so this spot right here, you can see it's a little bit darker than the rest of this here. So if I wanted to fix that, if I spritz on here and then I take my brush and I start brushing, sometimes you'll start to get water droplets. If that happens, you got to kind of blend it out and work with it. But that's what you can avoid by using the scumble, because you'll just have a very, very consistent type of a look. And as I'm rubbing this and I'm wiping this, you know, I can start to reveal a little bit of the gold that's underneath there. There was maybe some black, there was maybe some white. So I can really kind of play around with this and distress it. These types of things that have like all of this really pretty detail to them are so so fun to do because they're so easy to make look good. And I never go into this with a preconceived notion of what I want it to look like, because you can't. Like, it's literally going to become a piece of art. So have fun with it and play around with some of these techniques for sure. Okay, let's see if... Thanks, Rachel. You guys are so sweet. Yeah, so definitely, you can definitely rub off the paint for sure. Is this for chalk? So this one, I'm doing the chalk style paint on, the Jolie. Thanks, Mary. So can you do this on a laminate piece? Somebody is asking. Lori's asking. Absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely do this on a laminate piece. So anytime you're using a piece that you're painting a piece, I'll do this center area here now too. That's laminate or slippery, really slippery. These layered types of techniques can be a little bit trickier because if you rub too hard, you could kind of wipe the paint off. So there's a couple of tips I have for you. Number one, you can lightly scuff the surface before you start. That will help your paint to stick. If you're doing these techniques, be very, very light-handed when you're rubbing. And the third tip I would have for you is to use the scumble, really, because that is going to allow you to rub less. You're going to have less friction there. So the other thing to think about when you're doing any of these techniques is that your base coat paint strokes are going to affect your final finish. So let me pull this camera off of here and show you what I mean. Okay. So let me see if I can. All right. So do you see in here? Okay. This I applied this paint kind of thickly, like textured, because if you look here in the corner, do you see how it almost looks like a canvas texture? I wanted to take that away and I wanted to make it more solid. So can you see all that texture that's in there? So you're kind of seeing that on top of the wash. And I can continue to come in here and kind of feather this out a bit. But whatever your initial paint strokes are, that's going to determine how your final finish looks. So you can kind of see here how this is it's not consistent. It's got, you know, texture to it, which is really, really pretty. So that's more of the wash. And, you know, that's not to say that you can't make a wash look very consistent. It just, it takes a little bit more work to make a wash piece look consistent as opposed to doing a glaze or, well, the colored wax is also going to be a little bit inconsistent as well. Would this type of painting hold up on kitchen cabinets? Absolutely. Absolutely. We have done, our customers have done literally hundreds, if not thousands, of kitchen cabinets over the last 8 years. And we always love being the lucky recipients of the exciting photos and giddy conversations that customers have with us after they've actually tackled those projects and they've actually completed them. So either product, whether you're using the Jolie paint or the General Finishes paint, are both really durable for pretty much any home decor project. We don't recommend using the colored waxes on your high use areas like like kitchen cabinets and or like dining tables and things like that. We would more so recommend that you're using the clear wax. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't achieve the same type of a look as a colored wax with the other techniques that we have, like the glazes or the wash. Okay, so let's see what else. Anything else? All right, so I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to show you around a little bit. So let me show you what's happening down here. Let me talk to you about what we're going to be doing next week. I'm very excited. So I wanted to have this door painted for you guys. I didn't get to it. I was playing with Madison last night, did not have time. This atrocious looking door, which by the way, I put this wall up when we built this room, and we had this extra door laying around from doors that got removed upstairs. And it's an old vintage door. It's real wood. So I had my contractor, my husband's uncle, Uncle Freddie, who's an amazing contractor, by the way. If you're in the area and need something done, he's really, really good and meticulous. So anyway, he built this door jamb to fit that actual door for me. And I just have not gotten a chance to paint it yet. So I'm going to be tackling that. I'm going to be using the General Finishes paint. I can't decide if I want to do it in black or I want to do it in pink. The same pink as my credenza on the other side of this room. So on Monday, which I have to tell you, I'm struggling, people, to not do this project until Monday. But on Monday, I'm going to be temp papering this cabinet, the back of this cabinet. Okay. So this china cabinet here is getting temp paper in the back. My temp paper came last night and I really wanted to do it, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait so I can show you guys how to do it. So here is the temp paper. I mean, how gorgeous is this? You can't really see the gorgeousness of it because black. I know, I'm kind of feeling the black too, Jill. I hear you. So it's pink and gold. It's gonna go on the background. It's gonna be gorgeous. I'm so excited. This is gonna hold paint supplies and craft supplies, you know, and all kinds of goodies that I need in my life. So I'm very excited. So that's what we're doing on Monday. On Wednesday, we are going to be doing a special video. Dots, polka dots, maybe some polka dots on there, Patty. I hear you. On Wednesday, we're going to be doing a... No, dots paper, I see. Yeah, I didn't do dots paper, but I'll get dots somewhere in here. I was actually, I was on Pinterest and I saw these decals, these dot decals that you could put on the wall and make the wall look like it's polka dots. So I'm kind of thinking about that for one of these walls down here. And I might cut the dots just with some vinyl. So we'll see. Wednesday, we're doing how to make color choices. So we get this question all the time, like, how do I know what color to paint my piece? How do I know if I paint this piece a color in my room, what do I do with the rest of the furniture? So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about how to make those decisions. At the end of the day, it's just a decision that you have to make. It depends on what your style is. And I think that, the key to all of this is learning about yourself. And this has been a journey for me because I have, you know, I really didn't understand my style or what I liked and what I didn't like when I started all of this, let's say 10 years ago. I just knew that I was really, really drawn to design. And as I have kind of gone through this process, I've had to kind of key in on the things that I really, really love. And that's a journey. And that's really the job of a designer, is to help you figure out what your style is. And then that will help you to determine what you want. So I highly recommend going on a platform like Pinterest or Houzz and creating a board for yourself. And what I would call it is my style. And I want you to pin things that you just love. It could be fashion, it could be rooms, it could be paintings, it could be anything. Pin things that you absolutely love. Don't think about it, just pin them. And when you go back to those boards and you look through them, you're going to start to find consistency. It's the same thing if you look in your closet. If you have a tidy closet, a Marie Kondo closet, and you can actually see your stuff, you will start to realize that you see a lot of consistency. Like, my wardrobe consists a lot of polka dots and pink and black and white and florals, and that's my style. And you know, you when you go to the store, you're drawn to the same things. I mean, that's your style. So you can't when you're trying to make those decisions and you're feeling torn, it's because you're not settling into your style. So I think that's really important, is to make sure that you're doing a little bit of research for yourself to find your own style so that you can start to make those choices. So on Wednesday, we're going to be doing a video about what different types of decisions you can make depending on what your style is. So I hope that you'll tune in for that. That's at 2:00 on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we're going to be doing another shop tour. So we have an exciting auction that's going to be coming up. 100% of the proceeds of this auction are going to go to a noble cause. Here is the problem. I have not found the noble cause yet. So I'm very much led by the man above, and he tells me what I need to do. So I need to feel compelled by some sort of cause. So I need your help. I need you guys to send me some charities or organizations, or, you know, that are in need, obviously, to do with this whole coronavirus COVID-19 situation that we're dealing with, whether it's, you know, PPE equipment, or, you know, the first responders, or essential workers, or I just something. So I need you guys to help me and key me into some really fantastic causes. So Friday, shop tour. Don't forget to tune in for that. And Friday, we're actually going to be doing it at a little bit of a different time. We're going to do it at 12:00 on Friday at the shop. So don't miss out on that. It's going to be a really, really fun one. Wednesday, again, we're doing the how to make color choices. And then Monday, we're going to be doing temp papering this cabinet. I'm so excited. I can't wait. So let me just scroll through here and see. I think there was another question. One question before I go. This is from Kathy. What kind of paint can she use for outdoor wood furniture? So luckily, you can use either one of the products that we carry. Either the General Finishes furniture paint, which is exterior rated. So you would just want to make sure that you do all your proper prep work. Lightly scuff sand, clean it with denatured alcohol and water, and then clean it with a tack cloth. Go ahead and paint it. You can seal it with exterior 450, which is the exterior top coat. And I just realized, John, that I told my dad I was going to send him a can of it, and I didn't. So can you please do that? Send him a can of exterior 450 in satin. So exterior 450, put that on your outdoor pieces to seal them. If you're using chalk style paint, you can paint them. You do not wax them. You can use exterior 450, or you can leave them with just the chalk style paint. They will be matte and chalky. I wouldn't recommend that really for like things that are getting use. If it's just something that's sitting in the garden, just leave it. If it's something that's actually going to get used, then you're going to want to seal it. Okay, and I think there was another question up here from Mary. Yeah, and by the way, 25% off temp paper. Now is the time to do it. And we just left a comment in the a comment in the comments that for a code, a special code. So if you use Sweet 25 on Temp Paper's website, you're going to get 25% off your double rolls, or Sweet 15, you get 15% off your single rolls. And then we get credit. So we would totally appreciate it if you guys submitted your orders to Temp Paper that way. Okay, so can we line the dresser drawers in that paper too? Yes. Can I tell you? I told you I couldn't wait. I was so excited. So I did that last night. I did line the drawers with the temp paper. So yes, and we do tons of that. And you can actually also do like stair risers. You can do with the temp paper. You could do it for inside drawers, inside shelves. It's really fun. I mean, even inside frames. I'm gonna like do a couple little frames in here with some excess leftovers. So I love the temp paper. It's so much fun. Okay, so Mary had a question about painting her banister. You must be reading our mind, Mary, because we're actually doing a post right now, right at this very moment, a how-to on our site for gel stain. And we show a wonderful client named Lorraine. She did her banister. It was oak, and she did it in black gel stain. It looks amazing. So that's going to be up on the website shortly. But yes, you can absolutely paint the banister black. So you can either paint it, or if you want it to look more like a wood stain, then you would want to go ahead and use the gel stain, which is a general finishes product. You can check it out on our website. You can also call us if you have questions about it. The gel stain is an oil-based product. It takes about 6 to 8 hours to dry in between coats, and it is a longer time. Like, it takes probably maybe 5 to 7 days to dry, and then you have to top coat it, but it's very, very durable because it is oil-based. So, you know, it's kind of like, it takes a little bit longer, but it gives you a more authentic type of a wood finish, or you can use the paint and make that kind of look like a stain type of a wood as well. So either or, you could absolutely go with either or, for sure. I think that was all of our questions. So I want to finish by, so Dion's asking, so that wouldn't be good for steps. Are you referring to the temp paper? The temp paper we do on the riser, so not on the actual treads, but on the riser. So we have that actually in our store. It's held up really beautifully. You can absolutely use that on steps. If you're actually talking about how to paint your steps, again, you can use any of the products that we carry. I actually did my basement stairs in the chalk style paint with the floor lacquer, and it came out fantastic. And it's been like 4 years, and it's holding up really, really well. So Dion was saying gel stain. So you can use gel stain on steps. It's not really a recommended application, but we have had a lot of clients do it. It depends on what you're doing. Like, if you are actually staining the whole step and you're going to be walking up and down on that, it could wear away over time, but it's going to hold up pretty nicely. If you're doing, like, let's say you're doing a runner of a rug and then you just want gel stain on the outside, absolutely, I would 100% go for that. So, it takes too long yonder, correct? Autocorrect? So yeah, you definitely can use the gel stain product for stairs and also for banisters, which is good. So I just want to remind you guys to stay positive, to make sure that you're doing something for yourself every day. You know, I was mentioning at the beginning of the video that we're now extended on pause until May 15th as per Governor Cuomo's orders. And, you know, I think that we live in a society of, like, the grass is always greener on the other side. So I'm trying, that's kind of been like something that I've dealt with my whole life. And it's something that I'm really trying to put into perspective over, like, let's say the last 5 to 7 years. So I'm really just trying to be happy in the stage that I'm at, whatever that might be. And right now I have to be home and I have to have my doors closed. So I am trying to figure out ways to be innovative, to still connect with our customers and to do our business virtually. And I think that because of our amazing customers, and our fantastic team, we're doing a good job of that. And we're just, you know, I'm just in this. And I have to be honest with you, I'm kind of having fun. I'm kind of having fun doing this. I'm having fun connecting with you guys, figuring out things to share with you every day. I enjoy talking to my team and exciting what's happening. John sending us pictures of all the pickups that he has going on. And, you know, we call each other back and forth every day. And it's really been, I feel really blessed. So I'm so thankful for our frontline workers out there, our essential workers who are going to work every day. Every time I go to the grocery store, I thank the checkout clerk for coming to work today. My UPS guy delivered a rug before. I thanked him for, you know, coming to work. Like, I'm so thankful for what everybody's doing. And the healthcare workers, I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, I was not bred to be in healthcare, but there are people that are, and this is what they were built for. I mean, it's not like this is unprecedented and nobody ever imagined this would happen, but those are the people that I want on the front lines. You know, they were trained to, you know, work under pressure. I mean, not this much, but you know, I think they're doing the very best that they can. And I'm grateful. I'm just trying to be grateful and be positive. And, you know, the other part of this is that when we do go back to normal, I want to make sure that I'm still here. You know, like, we can get lost in our own heads. I dealt with depression for a long time, and it debilitated me. And if we allow ourselves to become debilitated, we won't have anything to give when this is all over. So I think it's just so important to make sure that you're doing something for yourself. So I hope that we can inspire you to tackle projects at home, that this can kind of keep your mind off of things, and, you know, help you to feel good in your house. I mean, I have to tell you, I am coming down into this basement so much. We got some orders last night for vinyls, and when that phone dinged, I literally did a happy dance because I had to come down here and cut vinyl. So thank you to those of you who ordered vinyls last night, because I got to come down here and work. So I'm just filled with joy and thankfulness and hope and positivity that things are going to turn around. This is a reset for us, and we're so excited to be here for you guys. And whatever you can, if there's anything that you need us to do, or you want us to show you, please definitely shoot us an email, shoot us a message, shoot us a comment. We want to hear it. We want to know what you guys want, and that's what we want to give you. So I hope you guys have a really fantastic rest of the Friday. I just got a new rug. I'm so excited. So I ordered my rug from Floor, Flor. Have you guys heard of this? And it's tiles that you put together to create a rug. And no, you can't see the seams. And yes, you can create custom sizes. And I really loved this antelope print rug from a home decor store, but the direction of it was wrong, the way that I wanted to lay it out in my room, and I was so upset about it. So I started Googling like antelope rugs, and I found on Floor they have this rug. Patty, I'm so excited. I'm gonna literally go put it down right now. So I will definitely show you guys when it's all done, and I'll show you how it kind of configures together. So I'm really excited about that. Like I said, find something to be excited about. Some of you expressed interest in our vinyl rugs. We had somebody who ordered one. John called her yesterday. He said she was at the store within 3 minutes. So I understand that feeling, because you want to find things that are going to bring you joy. So have something to look forward to. You know, we have some beautiful faux florals in the store. Patty wants me to show her. I'll go. Let's go upstairs and I'll show you. I haven't even opened the box yet. And by the way, I still have the scumble spilled out onto the floor. So absolutely find something that you can be excited about, because that's what's really going to keep you going, for sure. Okay, so here's I have my messy kitchen. Oh, you can't see it because I'm flipped around. Let me grab a pair of scissors here. I'm going to go outside. So here, terrible story. It got delivered the other day to the wrong house. So I'm like anxiously awaiting it to come, and it came to the wrong it went to the wrong house. I had no idea where it went. I was so upset. And then I said, you know what? Nothing you could do about it. My husband first said that to me. Nothing you could do about it. I just, I stayed calm. I called the company the next day. They said they were going to send out a replacement. And that was yesterday. And then the UPS man, who I thanked for doing his job, he showed up right before this video started, and he redelivered it. It was the person who it was delivered to, they told. So look at this. Check this out. So Floor, there's the company. And check this out. How gorgeous is that? Dots. I got my dots. So these go together. I don't know exactly how this works yet. How cool is this going to be? I'm so excited. It's going in my bedroom. But they have, if you flip it over, they have a directional arrow on them. And then they also have these dots that go in between, and you like glue them together. So anyway, I'm so excited. I'm going to have so much fun putting this together. So fun. I can't wait. So anyway, thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's Friday. It doesn't even feel like Friday, but definitely make sure you tune in next week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome weekend. I know it's supposed to rain tomorrow. which stinks, but you know what? I'm going to stay inside. I'm going to work down in my laundry room. I'm going to have fun. We're going to watch movies. We're going to make popcorn. It's going to be great. So make the best of it. And thank you so much, guys. I'll see you soon. Mwah! Thanks for watching. Want to learn more? Subscribe now.